What is Jimmy's rule of thumb for fishing shallow water? Good morning, guys and girls. February 13th, Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, supposed to be an unlucky day. How could Friday the 13th be an unlucky day when it falls in February? Because tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day is a lucky day for everybody, especially if you've got a Valentine. Or a Valentine, 2 or 3 Valentines, I don't really know. But Friday the 13th, we actually have, obviously, March, Friday the 13th in March also, because we have one in February, you're going to have one in March. We also have another Friday the 13th in November. 3 Friday the 13th this year. But you know what I think about Friday the 13th? I don't trust in luck every day anyway. I trust in God every day. I trust in God every day. And we're going to be reading for the Catch a Better Life book right here on the Catch a Better Life channel on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to it, please subscribe to it. Have one or two of your friends subscribe to it as well. If you're a Facebook person, Jimmy Houston Outdoors, all capital letters on Facebook. February 13, reading from the book of Daniel. I love the book of Daniel. Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits and its width 6 cubits. Wow, that's tall. That's tall. Here's what I wrote about that. We've got a devotional I wrote about fishing and a fishing tip for today as well. Fishing is important to a lot of us. It's more than a hobby. It's actually a lot more than a sport. And it is more than just friendly competition. It is all of those three right there, without a doubt. But it's a way of life. It's a way of life. Can fishing become our God? That's the question. Can fishing become our God? I think it can. I think it can. And there might be a thin line between fishing becoming our God and not becoming our God, particularly for those of us who fish for a living. I've fought this idea in my mind for a long time. I've read that scripture every single year, at least once, for the last 50 or 60 years. And so I want to make sure every day that I'm not letting fishing become my God. Because God allows no other God. He doesn't share his throne with anyone. We can't put anything on the throne of God but God. We can't put something there. In today's verse, we find a blatant example of a man declaring himself as God. Basically, that's what King Nebuchadnezzar was doing. The king created a 90-foot tall statue. 90 foot. Think about sitting in standing in a football game. From the goal line all the way out to the 30-yard line. Yeah. 30 yards, 90 feet. 90 feet. That's a big, tall statue. Take that, what you're looking at there, turn it up, see how tall that statue was. And everyone was commanded to bow down and worship that idol that King Nebuchadnezzar made. But the God in our lives, they're not necessarily quite so easy to ascertain. They're not that obvious. They're not 90 foot tall many times. And here's the big deal. They can slip in little by little until they're on the throne. They can kind of slip into our lives until they're actually on that throne. And we're worshiping them as opposed to the real God. These gods can take on many forms. These gods can be a hobby that we have, such as fishing. They can be our job. I have forever, even when I was in college and ever since, put in really long work weeks, working 80, 90 hours, some weeks 100 hours. Our job, can we make our job our God? We can. Have to be careful about that. A sport, we can worship and enjoy a sport so much that it becomes our God. Obviously, the Bible tells us about money becoming our God in several different places. That's easy to do. Power. Most of the politicians that we have today, particularly the ones in Washington, D.C., both parties, power becomes their God. They'll do everything to maintain that power. And, of course, something as simple as sex can become our God. Who or what are we really worshiping? Who or what are you and I worshiping today? We ask ourselves a simple question. We need to ask ourselves this question often. Is God on our throne? Is God on our throne? Nothing else, just God. Here's our tip for today, Jimmy's rule of thumb about shallow water fishing. Guys and girls, this works everywhere you go. Fish shallow, cover near deep water. Find cover in shallow water. bushes, rocks, boat docks, grass, whatever. Find cover in shallow water near deep water, where deep water is close by. And that'll work more often than not. It's given me hundreds of thousands of fish over the years. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one. Fish lucky. And remember, I sure do love you.